We certainly have an issue in the LDS Church if we are excommunicating those who are not going along with the leadership narrative. If they are following scriptures and following the Bible and the Book of Mormon, and they actually state the actual LDS church history, and they're just reciting the same documents the church has put up with the Joseph Smith papers, and then it goes against what the leadership corporation wants to portray in the church, wants to tell the narrative they want to tell, and it goes against their narrative that they want to tell instead of actual scriptural godly narrative. There's a problem. We're having a divide here of leadership that seems to be going against God directly, and they're excommunicating people for showing the truth and speaking up about it, whether it be anything, whether it be polygamy, whether it be tithing, whether it be following the prophet to the death instead of following God first, whether it be any of those concepts. There's a problem that God says, for an example, polygamy never was of me. It never was. It never existed. It's not of God. It goes against my laws. It goes against me, Manon. It goes against my commandments. It is adultery. Polygamy, polyandry is 100% adultery. You are breaking the 10 commandments and the utmost, one of the top 10 commandments of God, adultery, by even advertising and suggesting or saying that polygamy is of God. And then you're breaking the law, the commandment of idol worship and taking the Lord's name in vain. There's two commandments there, and you're breaking both of them by the leaders stating that polygamy is from God. They're now taking the Lord's name in vain because it's not of God, and they're idol worshiping. So it's a type of idol worship to say polygamy, we know it's from God and it's great and grand. It's putting an idol before God. So whether it's the idea of it or actually the act of it, you're doing lust in your heart, adultery, you're breaking that one. Then you're idol worshiping an idol, a concept before God that's not true, that's not from God. And then third, you are taking his name in vain, completely just blaspheming his name in vain. And so we have this divide here. We have people that are being X'd out for speaking the truth and showing the exact documents from the church's own website, from the Joseph Smith papers. They're actually showing the historical documents of Joseph Smith and Hiram and Emma and all of them. And they're showing that this is not of God, that Joseph and Hiram, they fought against polygamy constantly. They called it out constantly. And then they were murdered conveniently. And so we have one set of people that are showing the truth. Then we have another set of people, which usually are ones with leadership and power, whether they be a church historian or whether it be someone from the Q15, that are stating this is from God and this is what we have to agree to this and we have to comply, and all this nonsense that is absolutely blaspheming God's name. So we have this divide, the wheat and the tares, I'm afraid, and it's not looking pretty. And then we have all these middle people. I'm sorry to call these people middle, but they really shouldn't be called middle people. They really are on the tare side. But these passive people, that they're the ones that know and say nothing and go along with it, and it's irritating and exhausting to feel like you're over here, you're fighting against the devil, really. And whether it's the devil in the concepts and the doctrine, the false doctrine that's taught, that's what you're fighting against, this false doctrine that's taught. You're fighting against that with God, and then you have these passive people. Well, I just don't want to, I don't want to leave my comfort zone up at the church. I think I could do better in the church than out of the church. And they say that, and then they keep quiet, and they do nothing. So let's say that they can do better in the church than out of the church. They're not speaking up. You're not doing anything. And those that speak up get excommunicated. We have Karen Hyatt. She speaks up, and now she's excommunicated. Michelle Stone, she was speaking up. They didn't like it. So they said, take it all down or we'll excommunicate you. And that's what's happening here. It's just audaciously insane. It seems like the world is upside down, because righteousness is not complying with a leader that's doing wickedness or prophesying about it or saying that this is the way it is. Even if let's say they're not wicked. If they are stating false doctrine and false things and telling you as a member to follow them, then we should not be doing that. We are not following Jesus Christ at this point. We are not. When you follow a leader that's spouting false doctrine and telling you that's what God is, and that's the nature of God, they're lying to you. They're breaking yet another commandment. They're lying, because that is not the true nature of God. Follow the 10 commandments. How many are there? 10. 10 commandments. Count all fingers if you didn't know. There are 10 commandments. Does it go against the 10 commandments? Yes, it does. To just believe that polygamy was at one point from God is breaking the commandments of God.